Good morning. How are we all? It's roughly 6 a.m. here in the UK. I must admit my sleep pattern has been a lot better over the past week or so. I'm consistently sleeping till at least 6 a.m. without getting up in the middle of the night. Obviously something's happening up here that's making me feel slightly better. So, what have I been up to? Any better? Yeah, a little. Still got a lump up there, but never mind. Morning hair. First of all, big shout out to Professor You Do the Math for his wonderful compliment. Well, I found this in a charity shop. It's part of an individually numbered collection fired in Leningrad or St. Petersburg if you prefer. On Russian legend. It's the story of the hunt for waiting for the firebird, the phoenix. The phoenix is a creature that massively appeals to me in mythology. The idea of constant rebirth and renewal. And in Terry Pratchett's work, it was a guardian. A creature that fought it again and loathed vampires. He always had a different take on things, didn't he? Usually a hilarious one. An hilarious one, there you go. That sounds better. Oh, I also figured out with this, if you put 2 down the barrel and then conventionally lock and load a third, you can fire 3 shots at once. So it's kind of like, it becomes kind of like a scattergun, which is quite cool. Yeah, I'm down to 4 shots again. I've lost one in the bedroom. Yeah, well, sure I'll find it again. I keep thinking about experimenting with harder ammo because these are quite soft and squidgy. And it does have the force at the end of the barrel to, if you put one of these cat balls and hold it like that, it'll fire it into the ceiling. That's how I figured out. You could turn it into a scattershot gun, because obviously the softer, lighter piece of ammo, even though it fired the cat ball, stayed in the barrel. Yeah, it's a little experimentations inspired by Todd's Workshop, very good YouTuber who manufactures and tests medieval weaponry, normally on a ballistic gel dummy, sometimes with hilarious results. happened last night. Well, this is part of the inspiration for this video. I was watching season 2 of The Legend of Vox Machina on Amazon Prime. There's several things to say about that. First of all, it's one of the best animated series out there currently. The sense of humour, the characters, everything is spot on. Well done, guys at Critical Role. And, you know, I've been doing tabletop RPGing, role-playing games, since I was 12. But it was my partner who discovered Critical Role on YouTube before I did. Bless her. And she's only played tabletop RPGs individually with me a couple of times, you know. Bless her. But anyways, and we got to the episode where Scanlan ends up last man standing against the Sphinx. And he does that wonderfully cheesy 80s style ballad, stroke love song, and wounds the Sphinx. To me, that was one of the finest pieces of television in a long time. Because as someone commented on the YouTube video of the song, the Sphinx had been using the group's emotional weaknesses against them all along, giving them hints as to how to wound him. And Scanlan was the only one who saw it. Shallow, crude, perverted Scanlan. Which, when it comes to the game, me and my partner like to play, whereas the character that most annoys me is normally who I'm most like. Can you guess who? Out of Vox Machina, we came to the conclusion I'm most like. Yeah, that'd be Scanlan. And there is some truth in that. I'm a party animal. I tend to deflect with normally crude and perverted humour. But I like to think my heart is good. And I've got the ballad stuck in my head now. It's not going away, is it? Yeah. Can't wait for season 3. I'm especially intrigued to see where the whole Vax and the Vestige, the Lady of Ravens, almost assassin's gear that he's wearing, to see where that goes. Can he control it? Can he not? We shall see. The characters, Vex and Vax. I must admit, I prefer Vexalia. She's far more sarcastic and funny. Whereas Vax is far more hostile in his humour. Bit of a chip on his shoulder. Not as much as Percy, who's hilariously geeky. Then you've got Grog, haven't you, who's just wonderful. I wish I was Grog, because he's so simple and stupid. Life is less complicated when you're Grog. And then he reveals that he has a brain, and the fight with his uncle. Wow. Jen Caliph, who could rule the world if she had the confidence, because she is a powerful, powerful mage. But yet again, very good at heart. And of course, Vexalia's pet trinket, who's just cute, but deadly. And then you have Pike. Her relationship with Grog and the kind of will they won't they relationship with Scanlan, so well written, so much depth. In comparison to most of the live action things we see recently, this to me is why Legend of Vox Machina stands out. The depth of storytelling, the writing is a rarity. There is no agenda there. So yeah, I thoroughly recommend The Legend of Vox Machina. It makes me want to do some tabletop role playing again. I might do a little session where for YouTube where I just do it on my own. I did this when I was a child quite often. It means I get to fudge roles. When I'm both DM and player, I get to fudge roles the way I want. Oh, come on, anybody who's story told before for any role-playing system, I'm sure you've fudged roles just to move the story along. But the important thing to do is to only fudge roles that save the player characters. But if they do something really stupid, they can pay for it. Lessons need to be learned. I had a point I was thinking of making. Well, I suppose my point and the reason I love The Legend of Vox Machina is it shows the true bonds of friendship and love in adversity. It shows true depth of character and storytelling, because Scanlan, despite his perversities, his crudities, his general attitude, when Grog is at his weakest and he's caring for him and Pike comments on it, and Scanlan of course diffuses it by saying about, oh, do you want to see me in my nurse's uniform? Because this is what Scanlan does, and with the majority of people, this is how I am. You know, there's a deep and meaningful question, and I deflect it by going, oh, you know, fancy a shag then? Or something along those lines. I did once get laid in Nottingham Rock City in the Midlands by using that line. I got slapped twice before I found someone who accepted it, but that was a good night. Many years ago, me and two lads who I knew from Bury St Edmunds, we went up to Chris Blades and Adrian somebody. Chris was in a local band, metal band. And I'll always remember a rock version of I'd say glam metal version of You're So Vain was playing, and this gorgeous young lady walked past me on the dance floor singing it at me, and I followed her, and we basically got off together on the dance floor, and then found a shadowy corner, and things happened, and I never saw her again. She was very attractive. Yeah, I've had my scandal moments. All that's behind me, of course. Get slapped if I did anything like that these days. And, apart from anything else, I'm beginning to find out who my questing buddies are, where I fit in, where I'm most welcome. Like Vox Machina, when they're talking about should we save the kingdom from the dragons or not. And I forget who it is, but someone points out, well, it's the only place that's ever trusted us and given us a home. Gave us titles. And this is why, random item, I think certain places that I frequent these days, I feel very grateful to, because they've given me respect, haven't listened to the gossip. Obviously, I'm sure if I heard half the gossip out there about me, I'd probably be quite entertained. But people are quite willing to believe anything that goes along with their prejudgment of you. And prejudgment of me is usually on the lines of, well, yeah, he threatened to tear someone's arm off if they didn't shut up. Or he threw a chair at someone. This is all mostly based on unfounded rumour. I've been known to get very verbally aggressive, but I can't actually... I think the last time anything got beyond being verbally aggressive was 4 or 5 years ago when I got mugged. Before then, it was 5 or 6 years. There have been acts of sporadic physical violence in my life, but I've never started them. So why I've got this reputation, I do not know. But yeah, as I said, it's people will go along with whatever lies someone says if those lies agree with the prejudgmental picture they have of you. That's people for you. So what I would say in conclusion is, you hear these things about someone, be very aware that you could be prejudging them. Maybe your judgment is right, but maybe it's not. Am I capable of being nasty, violent, and aggressive? Yes. But those who I've done that to, what kind of person are they? What did they do to provoke it? Why did they seek to provoke me? And what is their motivation for spreading the rumours? And I intentionally, hopefully, cleared my name on 2 recent points in the past 3 or 4 months by basically saying, look, at the end of the day, these rumours and misinterpretations of my actions seriously hurt my standing in other places because people gossip. I mean, Manda, bless her, the landlady of the Swan and Edgehill, said yesterday afternoon when I had 1 pint I very rarely go beyond 1 or 2 when I have my little afternoon drinking sessions. And she half jokingly said, I don't listen to the gossip and rumours about you, Howard, and winked at me. And I went, well, yeah, it's a funny story. So she went, I'm only joking. I thought, yeah, you are half joking. Because I know she hears things. But she keeps it close to her chest. And she judges me by how I act in her pub, which is with respect and gratitude for the fact that she gives me trust. Whereas there are a couple of other places where I'm just not trusted. And those places I stay the hell away from. Because when I do not feel trusted, I don't feel comfortable. And when I don't feel comfortable, I sometimes feel threatened. And when I feel threatened, I react aggressively to a threat. Yeah. There was a cat there, but she conveniently stepped out of frame. Oh yeah, and in response to a person on one of my earlier videos who was like, you need to floss. And then basically when I said, yeah, well, send us some floss then. I was like, well, it's only 50p. Well, for your information, I haven't even got 50p in change. I know they're cheap, which is why you find loads of these little plastic flossing tools lying around in the bloody streets. Because people are shit. I was taught you don't do that. By my parents, by my mentor Rick. Yeah. Somewhere. Oh, that's a bit bright, isn't it? Low-key bound. Welcome to the sunny side of the room. Here in the UK, as we're getting towards August, the mornings are going to start getting darker. Well, the sun's going to come up later. And many people are not looking forward to this. Seasonal affective disorder, I think it's called, isn't it? SAD. But for me, the upcoming season of autumn is the best. Crisp, clear, cold, frosty mornings are what I used to thrive on when I was doing groundsman work outdoors. Always had been. I mean, years ago I did a stint as a lawnmower tester, believe it or not, for what was then Atco Qualcast, but is now Bosch in Stowmarket. And we went out on these cold, frosty autumn mornings that were sometimes so bitter you had to wrap a scarf around your face, you know. They were good mornings. Dog walkers out early. But yeah, I get very tired of people chucking empty cans over my wall in my front garden, people leaving cans 10 yards from a bin. There's no need for it. It's just pure laziness and a lack of respect for the environment and those around you. Perhaps this stems from a lack of respect for yourself. I could turn this into a quill. I think it'd work. Seagull feather, I think. I collect them. Most of them go to my mate Molly, who works with feather, leather and bone. But some of it I keep for myself. No, that's not a dog walker, that's someone obviously off to work early. I'm sitting in this three-tiered window here. You do get to see the world go by. That's why I like it. This is really my partner's position. But she's not like me, not an early riser. Say hello, Mr. Panda. I do collect the oddest of things. Forget where that come from. I know I didn't pay for it, but neither did I steal it. It was offered freely. And this, yet again, is a misunderstanding I've had before. A certain person in a certain establishment, when I was showing off something I bought in a charity shop for cheap, just looked at me, and she didn't know me, doesn't know me very well, but just looked at me and went, "Where'd you nick that from then?" I'm sure to her it was humorous, but to me it said everything about her judgment of me. So, you know, and that's one of the reasons I don't like that particular establishment anymore. Because when someone who doesn't know you that well says something like that about you, you can tell that they are judging you as someone who would thieve. And having already had my own younger brother, who still doesn't talk to me and hasn't apologised, earlier on this year accused me of stealing from my senile mother, which I did not. Basically, she gave me permission to take certain items from the home to have them valued, and forgot she did so. But yeah, he still doesn't communicate. Mind you, I think I've still got him blocked on my phone. So, but there are ways and means. He could even write a letter or comment on my YouTube channel, but he won't. Yeah. I mean, for those who comment on my apparent mental health problems and my over drinking and smoking, I suggest, you look back and see the shit I've been through this year. And you tell me, would you be any different? in the past 2 or 3 years, 4 or 5 years. First of all, just before COVID, a good friend of mine was killed 10 minutes from where I live by a bunch of teenage arseholes who wanted money. Then we had COVID, which everybody shared in. 2 years ago, my father passed away, and I was very close to him. Then in January, Rurik Gunnar Magnusson, who I've spoken about before, my mentor in Viking reenactment, passed away. Then we had the stuff with my younger brother accusing me of thievery. Then I found the reenactment group I was part of. And then that went tits up. Interesting expression, I know. Basically, it went horribly wrong. Was I partially to blame? Yes, I think I was. But the blame is shared there between at least 3 or 4 people. On the one hand, my reaction to what was going on was extreme. On the other, someone else who should have taken things in hand hesitated to react, while someone else just carried on what they were doing. I have to speak in code about this and just reference rather than speak about people personally, because some people would take being personally named and take it to the police and waste police time. Because apparently telling the truth about people, well, they don't like it, do they? Revealing their weaknesses. Yeah, me being Scanlony again. Well, I've dragged this on for half an hour. Well, thank you for listening. I'm going to go get cozy on the couch and see what's been happening in YouTube land. Take care, peeps. I'm definitely back.